Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and this is week 39 of my doing 100 weeks of YouTube videos and focusing on living a healthy and happy life. So, yay for week 39. I think it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I posted a video, maybe longer. I think it's about 2 weeks, so I apologize. Just one of these days I will get this every week. That would be fantastic if I can get myself to do that. Um, so I'm just going to go through my lovely little list of things and try to figure out what I can and can't do and all of my little mental breakdowns over the past 2 weeks. So, socially, I have been going to the temple. I have been going to church, so that's a good thing. I don't know what all I did. I did dinner a couple of weeks ago, borrowed a book. I've actually been talking to my Texas friend that did the book cover for my book. So, been doing a little bit of socializing as far as that goes. Haven't really done a whole lot of anything else. Emotionally, I've been terrible. I have not been journaling. I have not been processing. I have been running away and hiding because I can. Not because I should. It's very unhealthy. I really need to just sit down and process and deal with all of my emotions. And instead, I'm just kind of feeling in a state of overwhelm. And I don't know if anybody else has this issue. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or if it's just a me thing. But I know when I get overwhelmed or I get depressed or I get discouraged, sometimes I want to just do something to make myself feel better. But sometimes it's in the form of like emotional eating because I'm hungry and I don't have food. So then I just want to buy food. I want to spend money. I want to do something. And then I'm like, but then I can't because financially it makes my situation worse. But I'm like, it would make me feel better temporarily to buy food. But then if I buy food, then it's just going to be food that my body can't tolerate. And I'm just going to make myself sick. So that kind of helps talk me out of it, but it's just a really messed up thing in my brain where I'm just like, I just want to spend money, but I don't have money to get things that I want or need to make myself feel better. And then when I realize all the things that I can't have and I can't afford because I don't have money, then I feel even more depressed and more discouraged, and then I kind of spiral downwards and I isolate. So I've been struggling a lot with that recently. And a lot of that has to do, I think, also with some physical issues that I've been having that I still don't have explanations for, but I've spent all of my money trying to get answers from doctors and have more doctors' visits coming up and having more tests to be run. So I'm not really looking forward to that. So I'm like, great, they want to just run more tests to try to rule things out or to prove things. In fact, I saw my GI doctor this past week, and basically he said, we don't know what it is, but since you have gallstones, we're going to go in the direction of your gallbladder and we're going to do some tests. I don't know what it is, to just see if my gallbladder is actually working. And if it's not working, then obviously I need to follow up with the general surgeon and get my gallbladder removed. But he basically said as he was walking out the door that if I didn't have gallstones, they wouldn't even be going in that direction. So I was like, so basically what you're telling me is I'm having all of these issues and there's nothing other than the fact that I have gallstones. And they're not even calcified gallstones. They're not even showing any kind of blockage as far as gallstones. And the pain that I am having just kind of moves around. It's not centralized. It's not indicative of my gallbladder. So if it weren't for the fact that I have gallstones, he wouldn't even be sending me to a general surgeon and he wouldn't even be doing tests on my gallbladder. And I was like, fantastic. And you say this as you're walking out the door. And then you're like, we'll see you in 3 months. And I'm like, so I've already been in pain for 2 months and you still have no answers. And you're just going to run some more tests and tell me to go get my gallbladder out. And you'll see me back in 3 months. And if it's not that, then we'll try something else. I'm just like very, very emotional and very frustrated because I've spent hundreds of dollars that I didn't really feel like I had in the first place. And somehow I know that God has blessed me because I should not have had the means to pay for all of those things without putting it all on credit cards and everything else. And I have been able to make payment arrangements or still just waiting for bills to come in the mail that haven't been paid yet because they haven't sent me a bill. And mostly because I don't have the money either. But I have been very fortunate and very blessed. And my adopted parents helped me out with some things as well. So people have been helping me out and I've been able to pay for the things that I need up to this point. So I'm very grateful for all of that, but it just adds to that financial stress and that financial burden, and then the inability to feel like I can pay my everyday bills when I have to pay all of my medical bills on top of everything else. And I still have no answers to what's going on with me, which is the most frustrating part of all of this. So I did do some looking through the imaging and the results that I've gotten, and I have decided to see a different specialist, a completely different specialist, to see if there's something else going on. And if they can come up with some answers, that might be helpful. And I might have multiple things going on. I don't even know, but that appointment's not for a whole nother month. So I'm going to go a whole nother month of just not feeling good because one, I couldn't get in to see them any sooner. And two, I don't even know how I would pay to see them sooner because I don't even know what the bill was going to be. So I have to have time to try to figure out how to pay for things. So, just a lot of emotionally feeling overwhelmed and stressed out by things. Also, emotionally, my book is published finally. Yay. It actually happened. I'm actually a published author now. So my publisher did upload it to Amazon on Saturday. So it is up. It is live. It is where people can buy it. So it's on Amazon, it's on Smashword and all of their affiliates like Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and a whole bunch of other places and things I don't even know that they go through. And those are all like ebooks, but the paperback version is also on Amazon. And it's also on the Electric Scroll because that is the publishing company, is the Electric Scroll. So they also have the e-version of my book, plus I think in a couple of weeks, once they order some copies, they will have the paperback version to be ordered as well. I don't know what the price difference is between the different websites, but I did look at the prices on Amazon, and I was surprised. That's another like emotional thing for me because I recognize very much so that I devalue myself. I don't see myself as having as much value as other people see in me. And I know that God sees more value in me, and I have other people that see value in me, and I'm always questioning why they think that I have this value, or why they think that I'm this amazing person, or why they think I can do all of these things. And sometimes it just makes me, it's kind of the opposite effect, because instead of believing what everybody else says, I I feel like I'm super inadequate, like I'm not living up to everybody else's expectations. Like they see this great, wonderful, amazing person, and I don't feel like I'm that great, amazing, wonderful person. So I feel like it's kind of living a charade or living a lie, or I feel like I have to do extra to live up to that, or I have to do the opposite where I have to just prove to everybody that I'm this horrible person, or that I'm not as amazing as they think that I am, to kind of knock myself off of whatever pedestal they've put me on. So it's kind of a messed up emotional twisted state in my brain. I don't know if anybody else does that, but I do that, and I know it's backwards. And so seeing the price on my book and it coming out, and I'm thinking, okay, it's a brand new book, I'm a brand new author, nobody's read my book, it's going to be like the lowest possible price. It's going to be like $5 on Amazon just for like the paperback. It's going to be like 99 cents, which is probably like the cheapest you can get for, for Kindle or for ebooks or whatever. And the price was like $3.99 for an ebook, and it's like $12.99 for the actual book on Amazon, like the paperback book. And I was like, wait a minute, like that's like almost, double, triple what I thought the price of my book would be, what I would have personally put or valued on my own book. And I don't know how they come up with the pricing. I don't know how any of that works as far as like the marketplace goes or the value of it goes. And then I was just thinking to myself how grateful I am that I had a publisher that's publishing it and that is valuing my work and my efforts and putting it out there for what she feels like I'm worth, like what my book is worth. And it's kind of an opportunity for me to kind of take a second look and realize that instead of feeling like I'm not worth that much, or that my book isn't that good and it's not worth that much, it's that opportunity to maybe change my perspective and realize that I do have value, that I do undervalue myself, and that this is a great thing. So just kind of emotionally needing to process all of these things. And also kind of a little bit of a roller coaster ride getting my book published, because literally last week, when I thought she was going to upload it, she was like sending me a message saying that my book cover wasn't going to work. And I was like, wait, what? Like, my friend did this book cover. I sent it to her months ago when we first signed the contract. I had my friend do it and I sent it to her, and I was like, here's the cover. She's like, that's perfect. And now here it is time to publish. And she's like, I can't make your book cover work. Let's do something completely different. And she sent me something completely different. And I panicked and I was freaking out. Hence the socializing. I called my friend in Texas and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to fix this cover. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I forwarded it to her. I talked to her on the phone, her husband or her daughter, like everything. They're doing the whole like speakerphone, having this whole conversation. And she's on her laptop or computer, whatever. And she's just going into the programming. She's fixing it. She's sending it to me. And I send it back to my publisher and she's like, oh, this is perfect. So my friend fixed it in a way that my publisher liked it and I still liked it. And it wasn't the brand new, completely different cover that my publisher was suggesting and I was freaking out about. So, emotional trauma averted because of that. So just a lot of emotional up and down with all of these things coming out. And then in all honesty, still just like excited and happy to say that I'm a published author, but still kind of like, I don't know what to do with that. I know the next step is to go about marketing my book, which I also don't know how to do that either. So, I mean, I have some general vague ideas, but without spending a whole lot of money and putting a whole lot of time and effort into it, which is terrible because I think that's not valuing myself and my work and my book as much as I should, or as much as I could, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to devalue all of it, but I also know that I have a limited amount of time and emotion to put into things right now. And especially since I'm still having issues and pain that is unexplained. And that makes it a lot harder for me to be motivated and willing to do things that need to be done, including making my videos. So I'm just very good at making excuses. In the last video I made, I did it sitting on my exercise ball like I'm doing right now. And then I took a break between videos, which I normally do. And then my stomach hurt so bad that I was like, I'm not making any more videos. So I apologize. It's just kind of been a little bit traumatizing, painful to make my videos, which is not fun. It's not a valid excuse. It's just an excuse. I'm very good at making excuses, and I think it's just part of habit because I've just always had an excuse to get out of doing whatever I don't feel like doing, which is not good, which is not good at all. Plus, I think maybe there's a little bit of that ADHD thing in there that's like if I don't have the right motivation to do something or there's an excuse not to do it, then all motivation has gone out the window and my brain's like, yep, we're good. We're not doing this. So probably why it took years to get a book published, but at least I got a book published. So that's an emotional roller coaster ride right there. Spiritually, I've been doing okay most days reading my scriptures and meditationals, except for on the weekends. But on the weekends, I go to the temple and I go to church. So I kind of sort of balance it out a little bit. But I know I feel better on the days when I actually read my scriptures and meditationals and pray for guidance and pray to know what it is that God wants me to do. And so I need to work on that a little bit better. Physically, I think I kind of already touched on that. I'm still trying to just eat as healthy as I possibly can, trying not to put anything in my stomach that would possibly make it feel worse than it already does, and paying an exorbitant amount of medical bills and tests to try to find answers, and I have none. So that's not fun. Mentally, I just have to say I'm trying to deal with all of this, trying to process everything that's going on, which is why I really need to journal to just deal with all of it. And then I don't because it's just overwhelming and I just shut down. So mentally, I have just been shutting down because I don't know how to deal with everything that's going on in my life right now. And it's not that they're all bad things. I mean, it's even great to have a book out, to have it published. And I just mentally don't know how to deal with that. I've never been in this situation before, and it's good things. It's great things. And I don't know how to deal with it. So it's like, I don't know what to do with this information. So my brain does the exact same thing as it does with anything that I feel overwhelmed with or I don't know what to do with, and it just shuts down. It's like, okay, we'll just shut down. That's what we'll do. So, I mean, I do have ideas. I think God is just trying to convince me I need to work on the next book. And I have other things in the other books that I can do and work on. And I did actually look through the next book because I wanted to put together a map of some sort and wanted to make sure that I wasn't overlapping towns and cities and whatever else and directions of things. And I finally found the direction and the description somewhere in something that I wrote that's not even in the book itself, but it's a description that I wrote originally when I first started creating the story. I did this big, huge, like whole chapter of description because I grew up in, the area of Les Mis and A Tale of Two Cities and what are some other ones? I can't think of any. Anyway, where they spend like entire chapters describing places and locations and things, and they spend like, chapters describing people's descriptions of a person. You get like a half a page or an entire page on a person's description. And now we have like all this fast food writing where people just don't want that. They want a generalization of this is where that's at, this is where this is at, and then they could just vividly imagine it in their brain without all of the details being written out. And so I had actually written out what my palace looked like and where everything was located, and I'd forgotten that I did that. Well, actually, I didn't forget that I did it. I just didn't know where it was at. So I did some searching and I found some descriptions that I'm holding on to now. I labeled it and put it somewhere that I know where it's at so that I can use it for future. And I used it to do like a little makeshift map that I sent to my publisher so she could put it in the book. And I don't know if she used the makeshift map I sent her or if she did something a little bit fancier, nicer with it, because really it was just like a crude little drawing of directions and like little dots, marks, whatever. This is basically it. It's like an outline of a map, which is fine for the first book, but hopefully it gets a little bit more detailed with future books. But I am not an artist, so I can only do the crude outline of everything, and someone else will have to do the details. May have to bug my my Texas friend to do that because she did such a good job on the book cover. So that would be mentally. So I did mentally at least do that part. I did do a little bit of working on my book, so I kind of figured out where I'm at least in the next book in the series. So I'm not completely shut down, but I feel like I'm shutting down. I'm just struggling with that back and forth. Internal battle of mine of being productive and doing all the things I know I need to do and feeling overwhelmed and stressed out and not sure how to deal with all of the things going on in my life. So then I just shut down. Anyway, I keep thinking if I unplug and then replug it back in, that it'll work better. My brain will work better if I shut down and take a break. But then I just have more stuff that's left undone, and then I feel more overwhelmed. So mentally, I need to stay more aware. I hope this video is recording well and has a good picture. I don't know. This is a different phone, new phone. That's another trauma thing. So financially speaking, we'll just go with that one because finances are next, right? We'll just jump into that one. So my phone literally decided to go on the fritz last week. I went to turn it on to open it up and it would just flash the open screen, and I did the whole thing to reset it, to turn it off and power it back on again. It still just flashes. And now I can push the button, it'll flash the unlock screen, and then it just disappears again, blank screen. I took it to a couple of different places to try to get it fixed. No getting it fixed. So I took the last of my savings. Well, actually, I didn't take the last of my savings. I put on my credit card, maxed out my credit card to buy a phone because I posted on Facebook I didn't have a phone, and I was like, if anybody has one, and nobody had one that I was aware of. So I maxed out my credit card and bought a new phone. And then I ran into someone at church and they're like, oh, we have a phone you could have. And I was like, and I just bought one. So I'm kind of torn with the whole financial thing. I should send the phone back and take the free phone. But I also like the fact that I just bought a new phone, and it is kind of fulfilling that need of needing to buy something new and buy something nice to pull myself out of a state of depression. Plus something about having something brand new to play with, a new toy to play with, a new toy to figure out how everything works and to do new things with, motivation to do my videos, because I needed a reason to figure out how to upload things to YouTube and how to use my new phone. So if I send my new phone back, then I still have technically a new to me phone, because then it's just a used phone that somebody else had. But somehow the novelty of having a used one versus a brand new one is just not quite the same. Just not quite the same. Plus, I personally have a lot of triggers around used stuff. And not that I don't have anything against used stuff. I should phrase that a little bit differently. But growing up, I was always the skinny mini, and my older sister was overweight. And because my biological mother was overweight, she always catered to my older sister and wanted to make sure that her emotional needs were met. And often the excuse for not being able to get me the same kind of things that she got my older sister, like shopping at Kmart or Walmart, not that they're the best or fanciest stores, but brand new clothes for my older sister was that it wasn't that they didn't have her size at the secondhand stores or anything else like that. It was that it was her self-esteem, and her self-esteem was more important than mine because she was overweight and I wasn't. And therefore I could get the secondhand stuff, the stuff that was looked dirty at the store, that was used, that had holes in it, that didn't have as nice as secondhand stuff as they do at the secondhand stores nowadays. Um, and then, of course, I had my younger sister who, anytime I had clothes, even if they were my nice clothes, my younger sister would just wear my clothes because my clothes were nicer than hers, or because my clothes were clean and hers weren't. And my biological mom would always let her do that. And so nothing that was, mine, even used stuff, was mine or was allowed to be mine. And so it just kind of triggers things like that. Like, I just felt like I wasn't good enough to have nice things or new things. I always had to have secondhand things because somebody else's self esteem or emotions were more important than mine. So I have nothing against secondhand things and buying things within a budget and what you can afford, and instead of like extravagantly buying other things. There's something different. Like, even like right now, I had to buy a used car instead of a new car. And my last two cars I've had have bought brand new off the lot. And there's something about owning it brand new off the lot and knowing that I'm the only one that's owned this car and taking care of this car. And even if I have to pay for it, it feels so much better than, because the first used car I ever had was the first car I ever owned, and it was a piece of junk, but it was a used car and I paid for it cash. I didn't have a car payment. And it just sucks to have a used car with a car payment. And I'm like, it's older than my other car and it's not as nice as my other car. And I'm really having a hard time caring about and taking care of the car that I have right now because of that. So I know it's a mental thing, and I know it's not bad to have secondhand stuff, and I love free things. So when people give me free things or free clothes, I mean, I don't say no to that. In fact, there was a sweet sister at the temple a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, and I was coming off of our shift, and she said, "I have something for you." And she took me out to her car, and we're not the same size by any means, but well, maybe the same size around, but I'm like literally like a head taller than this woman. But she gave me some of her dresses, and some of them still have the tags on from the store. Some of them have been used, but they don't have holes in them. They're not dirty or anything else like that. And it's so nice because I was thinking, I'm so grateful because all of my dresses and my skirts are falling apart, and I can't afford to go buy new dresses or buy new clothes. And I was so grateful for the new dresses that she gave me. So now I have like 3 or 4 new dresses that I can actually wear and rotate through church instead of wearing the exact same outfits. Like, I had 2 or 3 outfits like every week that I would wear one Saturday to church, one Saturday to the temple, and one Sunday to church, and that's it. And I would just alternate which one I wore Saturday and which one I wore Sunday, and that was kind of it. And no wonder they're all worn out because I had nothing else to wear. So I just am very grateful that I now have 2 or 3 options in which that I can wear something different to the temple and to church. And it's very nice, and I'm very grateful, and I've gotten some compliments on those, and I'm very grateful for that. So, like I said, I don't have anything against secondhand things, and I am very grateful that someone offered me a used phone. I just didn't know that they were going to give me a used phone, and I'd already ordered a new phone. So now it's that mental conflict between something used, nice and used from someone else, or something brand new. Um, it's still cheap because I can't afford something expensive. It's still probably like the cheapest version I could get that would still work with my plan that I have for my phone. So that's what I did, but it doesn't mean that I can't use the other one. I just haven't tried. So it's just, to me, I understand that it's a mental block as well as a financial block, because financially I should really return this phone and get my money back. But emotionally, mentally, it's nice to have something nice. It's nice to have something new, and not just new to me, but new. So, and it's kind of an emotional boost that I sort of feel like maybe would be nice to have right now, an emotional boost. Because again, I grew up with the idea that someone else's, mostly like my sister's or someone else's, emotions were more important than mine. And that if you had emotional needs, you could get nice things. And if you were emotionally stable, then you got secondhand stuff and you got like the not nice things. And I was just stuck with whatever was left. And then even if I had secondhand things or whatever things that I had, because I was okay, then it was okay for someone else to just take my things because I didn't need those either. So, and I know none of those things are true. And I know that my biological mom wasn't trying to put me down or make me feel worse about myself. She was just trying to help my sisters. And she didn't understand or see any kind of damage that she was doing to me. So I'm not trying to berate my biological mother. I'm just saying this was my perspective, my point of view. It's my trauma. I am aware of it. It is my trigger. I am aware of it. But it does make simple decisions, something that should be so easy financially, to just be like, okay, I can't afford a new phone. Somebody gave me a phone. Just return the phone that I paid for. It's no big deal. Problem solved. Um, but emotionally is a lot harder to just do that. Emotionally, I think I will probably just keep the new phone and I will hang on to the used phone that somebody gave me just in case I need it. The next time a phone dies on me, I will have a backup. I will have a backup phone instead of a bunch of dead phones. Or maybe someone else will need a phone and I have a phone I can give to them and just pass it on to someone else that needs it. I don't know. But that's most likely what I'm going to do because emotionally that makes me feel better, even if financially that is a lot worse. But to try to make myself feel a little bit better, I did just take all of my savings that I had left that I was going to save for something else and put it on my credit card to cover the amount that I used for my phone. So at least it kind of paid it off without interest. At least that part of it. I still have the interest for everything else on my credit card to pay off, but at least my credit card's not maxed out anymore because I did pay for it. So technically I did have the money for the phone. It's just I was going to save that money for something else. And it also means I don't have any money in my savings for anything else. So that's kind of my finances right now. They're just a mess because all of the savings I've had have been going towards medical doctor bills and visits and things like that. So, and in fact, my last doctor visit, I had to put on my credit card because I didn't have the money for that either because I don't get paid until this next week. And then I could pay off my doctor visit on my credit card. So I'll be able to pay it off once I get paid. I just didn't have the money before the visit, which I'm trying to stop putting things on my credit card because it's never going to get paid off if I keep putting things on it. But I'm grateful that I have it, and I'm grateful there's just a little bit of space on there for that little bit of emergencies that I seem to keep having. So that's where I'm at. My finances seem to not ever be getting any better, but I do have 2 cards that I think can pay off in October. So that will be nice. 2 more months and they will be gone. They're the itty bitty payments though. Like one's $10 and one's $37. So it's like literally $47 a month, but still to not have to come up with $47 a month after October would be fantastic. So, yay. Anyway, that's what I have. I think that covers everything, right? Spiritual, emotional, social, physical, mental, financial. So that's me in a nutshell. Still trying to figure out how to be happy, still trying to figure out how to live healthily, not doing a whole lot of exercising because just my stomach hurts. I just don't want to do anything, but still plugging along, still not giving up on myself, and still learning a lot of things about myself and trying to be open to new ways of doing things and being grateful for all the days that I can be happy and grateful for all the things that God is giving me in my life. And that does make me happy to be reminded of those things. So, that is all I have for today, and I hope this video turned out okay. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great week full of gratitude and maybe find ways to live a happy and healthy life too.